Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. Sometimes the best thing you can do is nothing at all. I mean that. When somebody walks out of your life, leaves you, disrespects you, treats you like you don't matter, you don't chase them, you don't call them, you don't beg for an explanation. No, you erase them. Let me explain something to you real quick. Your value does not go down because someone decided they didn't want to be a part of your life. I don't care who he was, your boyfriend, your husband, somebody you gave your heart to. His decision to leave, to walk away, to stop calling, or to pull back his energy, that has nothing to do with your worth. Let's stop allowing people's choices to make us question our identity. Just because he couldn't handle you doesn't mean you were too much. It might just mean he wasn't enough. Too many of y'all are out here tying your self-esteem to someone's presence, or worse, to their absence. Like the moment he ghosted you, you forgot who you were. Like when he stopped texting, you stopped believing you were beautiful. Let me tell you something. Your power, your beauty, your essence, that ain't up for negotiation. That's permanent. That's yours. You had it before he showed up, and you'll still have it long after he's gone. See, the problem is we sometimes let love convince us that we have to shrink to keep someone. We mold ourselves to fit into their life. And when they leave, we feel like we lost everything. But hear me, you didn't lose anything. What left was the illusion that you needed him to be whole. What walked away wasn't your peace, it was your distraction. And the second you realize that, you start walking differently. You start talking differently. You start shining again, not because he came back, but because you came back to yourself. That's when the shift happens. When you stop sitting by the phone, when you stop checking if he watched your story, when you stop wondering if he's with someone else. Because now, baby, you're busy. You're booked and busy working on you, and you're starting to realize that maybe the heartbreak was the breakthrough you didn't know you needed. I'm going to say something bold, and I want you to let it sink in. Sometimes rejection is just redirection. God will let somebody exit your life so he can give you back to you. Sometimes we get so caught up in being someone's woman, someone's ride or die, that we forget to ride for ourselves. So when he leaves, when he pulls back, when he acts like you were never enough, that's the moment you need to wake up. That's your cue to stop crying and start rising. It's not easy, I know. We all want to be chosen. We all want to be loved back the way we give love. But don't you ever let someone's inability to love you properly make you think you're unlovable. That man's absence is not a reflection of your value. If anything, it's a reflection of what he couldn't handle. Your power, your standards, your vision, your strength. And if he walked away from all that, good. Let him, because here's the thing, when you really know who you are, when you wake up and finally recognize the queen in the mirror, you stop needing validation from people who can't even validate their own lives. You stop waiting for a sorry to move on. You stop waiting for a text to feel seen. Baby, you see yourself now. You got you. And that right there, that's the real glow up. You don't need closure. You don't need to prove anything. You don't need to get him back to feel powerful again. You just need to remember who you are. You are not defined by who left. You are not diminished because someone failed to see your worth. That's on them, not you. Let them go. Let the silence grow. Let your peace be louder than any drama he could ever bring. Because the realest thing you can ever do is understand your value is not tied to any man. It's rooted in your spirit, your soul, your strength. And the moment you stop looking back, that's when everything starts falling into place. That's when he feels it. That's when regret comes knocking. But by then, you'll be too far ahead to even hear the door. You ever notice how when you stop talking, people start listening? Ain't that something? You spend all this time explaining yourself, pleading, crying, texting long paragraphs, trying to get someone to understand what they did to you, and they still don't hear you. But the moment you go quiet, I mean real quiet, that silence starts screaming in their ears. That's when they start feeling it. That's when the weight of your absence starts to press on them. Because let me tell you, silence and distance, oh, they speak louder than any argument ever could. See, confrontation can feel good in the moment. You get to release all that pain, all that frustration. You want to tell him exactly what he did, how bad it hurt, how wrong he was, and that's human. But sometimes giving someone your energy like that, it just feeds them. It makes them feel important even in your pain. It gives them access. And some folks don't deserve to know what's going on inside you after they already showed you they don't care enough to protect it. That's why silence is powerful. When you pull back, when you stop responding, when you don't even flinch at the games anymore, that's when the tables turn. Because now you're not reacting. You're not begging for closure. You're not chasing after someone who made a choice to walk away. You've taken the high road, not just in action, but in energy. That kind of maturity, that kind of self-control, it's rare and it's loud, louder than yelling, louder than clapping back, louder than any dramatic scene. Distance, that's your shield. That's how you protect your peace. That's how you create space between you and the nonsense. You don't have to block them out of anger. You can block them out of wisdom. You don't have to cut them off to be petty. You can do it to protect your progress. Because here's the truth. When someone causes chaos in your life, you are not obligated to keep them close just because you once loved them. You can love someone and still choose you. You can miss someone and still respect your boundaries. And when you do, when you put that emotional distance between you and that person, they feel it. A lot of people don't realize what they had until it's no longer available. That attention you used to give them, the comfort of knowing you were always a phone call away, the ease of being able to pop back into your life whenever they wanted. When all of that is gone, that's when regret comes knocking. But the thing is, by then you've changed. Because silence doesn't just affect them, it transforms you. It gives you space to think clearly, to heal, to grow. You stop being reactive and start being reflective. You get your mind right. You get your spirit right. You start leveling up. That distance becomes your comeback. You don't have to announce you're done. You don't have to scream, I'm over it. You don't have to prove anything. Let your absence do the talking. Let your peace speak for you. Let your unbothered energy be the message. Because nothing messes with someone's ego more than realizing they no longer have access to the version of you they once took for granted. Now, don't get it twisted. Silence isn't weakness. It's wisdom. It takes strength to hold your tongue. It takes maturity to walk away. It takes discipline to not respond when your emotions are on fire. But that silence, it's where your power is. That's where your glow up starts. You don't need to prove your pain to anyone who didn't respect it in the first place. You don't need to explain your silence. It's not their right to understand it. Let them wonder. Let them feel the shift. Let them sit in the space they created by not appreciating you. When you go silent, when you create that distance, when you stop explaining and start evolving, That's when everything changes, not just for them, but for you. Let me tell you something about revenge. The world will try to sell you this idea that you got to clap back, that you got to prove a point, that you got to let people know they messed up when they lost you. But I'm here to tell you the truth. The realest form of revenge is not payback. It's not proving them wrong. It's growth. It's evolving so far past the version of you they thought they knew, they can't even reach you anymore. That's how you win. That's how you flip the pain into power. You want to make someone feel the weight of what they lost? Don't argue. Don't cry. Don't try to post quotes on social media hoping they'll get the message. Nah. You get quiet and you get better. You level up your life so hard they wouldn't even recognize the woman they walk away from. You grow so deeply, so beautifully, so boldly, speaks louder than anything you could ever say. Because growth don't need validation. Growth don't need applause. It speaks for itself. See, a lot of people stay stuck because they think healing means staying bitter just long enough to make sure the other person feels guilty. But you're not grown if your focus is on their regret. You're still chained to the past if everything you do is about showing them what they missed. Let that go. You didn't survive that heartbreak just to keep circling around it. You're not here to prove anything to somebody who already showed you they couldn't value your presence. What you're here to do is become the version of you that doesn't even flinch when you hear their name, that doesn't look back because you're too focused on what's ahead. You know what's beautiful about growth? It's quiet. It happens when you stop performing for the pain. It happens when you realize that revenge don't heal you, it just delays your healing. And I get it. You want them to feel what you felt. You want them to hurt like you did. But trust me, life already has a way of bringing people face to face with their decisions. You don't have to be the karma. Let life handle that. Your job is to rise. You want to talk about revenge? Try glowing up emotionally. Try building a peace so powerful nobody can shake it. Try creating a life so fulfilling, so purpose-driven that even you forget what used to break you. That's how you do it. You pour into yourself, you elevate, you become somebody so rooted in their worth, so grounded in their value that no man, and I mean no man, can ever make you question it again. Stop thinking that engaging in the drama is going to give you closure. Closure don't come from confrontation. Closure comes from understanding your value and deciding not to settle for anything less than you deserve. That's it. You don't need a final conversation. You don't need an apology. You need growth. Because growth gives you clarity. It shows you the lesson in the loss. It teaches you to love yourself better than anyone ever could. You have to understand that the best revenge isn't about making them feel bad. It's about making yourself feel whole. It's about waking up one day and realizing you ain't mad anymore. You're not waiting for them to come back. You're not checking your phone. You're not rehearsing what you'd say if you ran into them, because you've moved on. And not just physically, but spiritually, you've evolved. So next time you feel like picking up the phone, next time you're tempted to send that text, next time you want to remind him of what he lost, don't. Use that energy to remind yourself of who you are. Use that moment to take one more step forward, to read one more page, to take one more walk, to do one more thing that brings you back to you. You don't fight back by engaging in what hurts you. You fight back by refusing to let it define you. So grow, queen, not for him, not for revenge, but for the you that's waiting on the other side of all this. Because once you start evolving, once you start rising, that's a version of you he'll never have access to again, and that's the real win. Let me break something down for you real clear. Healing is not about revenge. It's not about making somebody else feel the same pain you felt. It's not about trying to one-up them, outshine them, or prove them wrong. Healing is about choosing you every single day, even when it hurts. Especially when it hurts. It's about waking up and deciding that you're not going to let someone else's decisions write the rest of your story. You've already been through enough. Now it's time to rebuild, not by hurting them, but by loving you. See, when you come out of heartbreak, betrayal, abandonment, whatever it was, there's this part of you that wants to lash out. You want them to feel what they did to you. You want them to see your pain. That's human. I ain't judging you for that. But let me tell you something. You will never feel whole if your healing is rooted in hurting someone else. You don't need to match their disrespect. You don't need to compete in the pain Olympics. What you need is peace. And peace don't come from payback. It comes from letting go. You want to feel better? Then stop trying to win a battle that ain't even worth fighting. The second you shift your focus from them to you, that's the moment everything changes. Because you can't control what they did. You can't change how they treated you, but you can control what you do next. You can take all that pain, all that energy, and put it into your healing. Go to therapy, take that walk, say that prayer, journal it out, cry it out, whatever you got to do it. But do it for you. Not to show them you're okay, not to post a picture so they'll notice. Do it because you finally understand that your healing is your responsibility. Some folks stay stuck in the pain because they keep feeding it. They keep replaying the hurt. They keep having imaginary conversations. They keep stalking their page. They keep talking about what happened over and over like it just happened yesterday. And I get it. Your heart's been broken. Your trust has been shattered. But if you're going to move forward, you got to decide to move forward. That's the hardest part. Not forgetting, but choosing not to stay trapped in a moment that's already over. The truth is, healing don't always feel good at first. It's messy, it's ugly, sometimes it's lonely, because now you're sitting in all that silence, and there's nobody to distract you from what you're feeling. But that silence, that's where the healing starts. That's where you meet yourself. That's where you hear that small voice inside that says, I'm still here. I still matter. I'm still worth loving. You're not weak because you're hurting. You're not crazy because you miss them. You're not broken because it's taking time. You're human. But every day you choose healing over hurting, every day you choose growth over bitterness, you are rewriting the story. You're taking your power back, and that power, that's what's going to carry you into the next chapter of your life. I know it's tempting to keep looking back, to keep checking if they regret it, if they miss you, if they're watching. But don't lose yourself trying to make sure they see you. See yourself. Validate yourself. Love yourself. Because when you do that, something beautiful happens. You stop needing their attention to feel worthy. You stop needing their apology to forgive. You stop needing their presence to feel whole. You were whole before they showed up. You were valuable before they broke your heart. And you're still standing now. So use that strength. Use that wisdom. Use everything you've been through as fuel, not to hurt, not to hate, but to heal. because that's the real glow up. That's the real comeback. Not when they feel the pain, but when you feel the peace. Not when they say, I'm sorry, but when you say, I'm free. So don't waste your energy trying to get even. Don't give them the satisfaction of knowing they still have that kind of power over you. Let it go. Choose healing every single day because you deserve that. You owe you that. And nobody, I mean nobody, can take it from you. You got to understand this right now. Access is a privilege, not a right. Let me say that again so it hits a little deeper. Access to you, your energy, your heart, your time, your body, your presence, that is a privilege. And the moment someone takes that for granted, the moment they start acting like you'll always be there no matter what, that's when it's time to shut the door. Because people don't change when you cry. People don't wake up when you beg. But you take that access away, that absence, that silence, that distance, oh, they'll feel that. And they'll feel it deep. See, the biggest mistake people make is thinking they can keep doing the bare minimum and still get the best of you. They think you're always going to answer, always going to forgive, always going to be sitting there waiting when they decide they want to show up again. Why? Because that's what you've always done. You've always had that big heart. You've always been loyal. You've always made excuses for them. But at some point, you got to stop being available to someone who treats you like you're optional. Let me tell you something. When you let people access you without respect, they will eventually treat your presence like a guarantee. And there is nothing guaranteed in this world except how you choose to show up for yourself. That man thought you'd never walk away. He thought you'd always be there waiting with open arms, no matter how many times he disappointed you. But guess what? The moment you decide you're done, really done, that's when he starts feeling the weight of your absence. You don't need to announce it. You don't need to explain yourself. When someone has had consistent access to your love, your loyalty, your attention, and they treat it carelessly, you don't give a warning, you give distance. Not out of bitterness, but out of growth. Because now you've realized your energy is not free, your time is not cheap, and your heart, that's not a toy to be played with when he's bored or lonely. Some men only appreciate peace after they've created chaos. Some only understand your value when they can't call you anymore, when they can't pop up in your DMs, when you don't reply to that I miss you text. That silence, that scene with no response, that lack of access, that's when they start thinking. That's when the regret hits, because now they remember all the times you showed up for them. Now they see how much space you took up in their life. Space they didn't even realize until it was empty. You want to make him regret losing you? Don't argue. Don't chase. Don't try to force closure. Just remove the access. Let him sit in the void he created. Let him feel what life is like without your light, without your support, without your patience, without your kindness. Because you're not punishing him, you're prioritizing you. You got to stop watering relationships that don't pour back into you. You got to stop setting yourself on fire to keep someone else warm. Your love is a gift. Your energy is sacred. And anyone who treats it like it's replaceable should be reminded real quick what it feels like when it's gone. Because trust me, the moment you cut that access off, really cut it off, he's going to start looking for you in every other woman. He's going to start comparing every conversation, every moment, every connection, and it's not going to hit the same. Because there's only one you. But by the time he realizes that, you're already healing. You're already rising. You're already moving forward, focused on your peace, your purpose, and your glow up. That's why taking away access is so powerful, not because it makes him suffer, but because it frees you. It breaks the cycle. It creates space for something better, something deeper, something real. So don't feel guilty for closing that door. Don't feel bad for protecting your space. Don't let anyone make you think you're being dramatic for walking away from what no longer serves you. You're not being petty, you're setting a boundary. And a boundary is how you teach people how to treat you. When they take you for granted, you don't raise your voice, you raise your standards. Let absence do the work. Let silence be your answer. Let peace be your revenge. Because the truth is, the more you value yourself, the less you tolerate being treated like you're average. You are not average. You are exceptional. And the right one, he won't need to lose you to see that. But for the one who did, let him sit with that. Let him wonder. Let him wish. But don't look back. Keep moving forward and never ever hand out free access to someone who couldn't even respect the gift of you when they had it. Now let me tell you something straight up. The most powerful thing a woman can do after a man walks away, after he disrespects her, after he acts like she's disposable, is to go out and build a life that makes it crystal clear he ain't needed in it. Not wanted, not missed, not necessary. You want to get that man's attention? Don't cry. Don't chase. Don't sit around wondering what went wrong. Start living. Start building. Start glowing so bright that your joy is deafening to the silence he left behind. See, most men are used to women falling apart when they leave. They expect the late night texts, the emotional breakdowns, the can we talk moments. They feed off that energy, even if they ain't ready to give you anything real. They like knowing they still have a piece of you. But when you flip the script, when you don't reach out, when you don't fold, when you don't sit there looking broken, that's when the regret kicks in. That's when they realize they didn't just walk away from a woman, they walked away from everything you brought into their life. And let me tell you what hits even harder than your silence: your success, your peace, your glow. The way you start smiling again, not because someone made you happy, but because you made yourself happy. The way you walk with purpose, love yourself deeper, take care of your health, build your career, chase your goals, surround yourself with people who uplift you. All of that is power. That's what makes him sit back and say, damn, she really don't need me. You have to remember this. Your life doesn't stop because someone else couldn't see your worth. If anything, that's when your life starts. That's when you discover just how strong you are. That's when you tap into that version of yourself that was waiting for you to come home. Not to him, but to you. The version of you that's independent, confident, driven. The version of you that's been buried under compromise and emotional exhaustion. When you finally choose her, everything changes. Start doing the things you've always wanted to do. Take that trip, start that business, hit the gym, read more books. Launch that dream you kept on the back burner because you were too busy trying to hold together a relationship that wasn't holding you. Turn your pain into fuel. Turn your loneliness into freedom. Use that space he left to build something so beautiful, so rich, so fulfilling that even you forget you ever missed him. And here's the thing, when you build a life that is full, you don't just stop needing him, you stop needing anyone. You start choosing people based on who adds value, not who fills a void. You're not picking out of desperation, you're selecting from a place of peace. And that's when you become dangerous, not reckless, but unshakable. because now your happiness ain't attached to someone else's attention. It's rooted in your purpose. That's the kind of woman who turns